In the small town of Willow Creek, Peter and Mary were more than just neighbors. They were inseparable. Their mothers, Aunt Maggie and Aunt Rose, were best friends who treated each other's children like their own. Peter, a curious and energetic 9-year-old, often spent his days playing in the yard with Mary, who shared his love for adventure life, was simple and joyful, filled with laughter and mischief. One day, Peter asked his mother for a phone, claiming he needed it for his homework. At first, Aunt Maggie refused, knowing that he was still young, but as a loving mother who wanted to make her only child happy, she gave in. The following weekend, she bought a kid-friendly phone for him. Use it wisely, she warned with a smile. Peter beamed with excitement and hugged his mother tightly. At first, he used it for games and cartoons, sharing the phone with Mary. However, their innocent curiosity soon led them down a dangerous path. Peter's curiosity got the better of him when he stumbled upon an app containing videos labeled 18. Plus, the titles were unfamiliar, and he felt a strange thrill as he showed them to Mary. "What's that?" she asked, peeking over his shoulder. "I don't know," Peter replied. Letting watch and see, they locked the door to Peter's room and played the videos. Though they didn't fully understand what they were watching, they felt like they had uncovered a thrilling secret. Day by day, they became more engrossed in these forbidden videos. Their laughter faded and they no longer played out. Outside, as much they kept their new secret carefully hidden, avoiding their mother's questions. Aunt Maggie and Aunt Rose noticed the change in their children's behavior, but couldn't pinpoint the reason. The once lively and playful best friends now seemed distant, retreating into the world of their screens. One afternoon, Aunt Maggie came home earlier than expected. The house was eerily quiet. A mother's instinct told her something was wrong. She walked toward Peter's room and knocked on the door. "Peter, Mary, what are you doing?" Startled, Peter quickly turned off the phone and shoved it under a pillow. But it was too late. Aunt Maggie entered and saw the device resting on the bed. Curious, she picked it up and checked the history. Her face turned pale as she scrolled through the content. "What is this?" she exclaimed in horror. Mary's eyes filled with tears as she realized they had been caught. Aunt Rose was called over immediately and both mothers sat their children down. "These videos are not meant for kids," Aunt Rose said, anger and disappointment in her voice, though they scolded them firmly. They did not take Peter's phone away, believing he had learned his lesson. However, Peter and Mary had already become addicted to their secret pastime, and they soon found new ways to hide their actions instead of stopping. Peter and Mary grew even more secretive. They left doors slightly open to hear if their mothers were approaching and set alarms to stop watching. Before they got caught, their curiosity turned into something even more dangerous as they discussed what they had seen in the videos. "Do you think we should try it?" Peter asked one day. Mary hesitated but nodded one afternoon when their mothers were out shopping. Peter and Mary sneaked into the bathroom. They thought they were safe, but as they began acting out a scene from the videos, they suddenly heard Aunt Maggie's voice calling them. "Peter, Mary, where are you?" Panic set in as they scrambled to hide the phone before they could react. Aunt Rose pushed open the door. Her eyes widened in shock at what she saw. She stood frozen for a moment before shouting, "What are you doing?" The realization of what had been happening ate her like a thunderbolt, overwhelmed with horror. She clutched her chest and collapsed. Aunt Rose was rushed to the hospital. But despite the doctor's efforts, she didn't survive. The tragedy shattered both families. Aunt Maggie was devastated, blaming herself for not taking stronger action earlier. Peter was inconsolable, and Mary was overcome with guilt. Their innocent curiosity had led to an irreversible disaster. From that day forward, everything changed. Peter's phone was taken away for good, and he and Mary were no longer allowed to be alone together. Their family sought help from their church and a counselor to guide them through their grief and confusion. Peter and Mary were enrolled in after-school activities where they learned about making responsible choices over time. They began to understand the consequences of their actions and the importance of their parents' guidance. Their families grew closer, ensuring their children's curiosity was channeled in a safe and healthy direction. This painful chapter of their lives became a lesson they would never forget. Subscribe for more moral lessons